Welcome back. We are live on NTV. It's the ILFL Soccer Night Show. Good evening. We need to talk about the Premier Division now. It's all bubbling along nicely in that division, and I'll tell you why. Here are the results from yesterday's games in the Premier Division. Starting at the top, Lotus beat Hawk and Eagle by 3-1. Leytonstone, welcome to the party, Leytonstone. They smashed Beaumont by 5-0. Reach Out and Bromley, 9-goal thriller, and Reach Out won it just in the end. Bromley seemed to be waking up and coming back to play in the Prem as well. And Stepney, the current champions, beat West End by 4-2. So what does that mean in the table? Well, it looks like this. We now have 4 teams now beginning to separate themselves from the rest. We told you right at the beginning of the season it was going to be competitive. Stepney head the pile, 3 points clear of Reach Out London Tigers, with Lotus FC a point behind them. 4 points separating the top 4 teams. Nanu, let's dissect all the information here. Stepney atop should be where champions should be, I suppose. Reach Out, a little blip, Tigers coming back into it, and Lotus, the new boys, making it all very interesting.
Yeah, those 4 teams seems to be running away. It would be really difficult for the other teams to catch up. Especially this far down the season. We've kind of hit a milestone mid-season now, and Stepney almost with 100% record with 19 points. And if you look at the number of goals they scored in comparison to the goals that they conceded, it's a really good result. Only 10 goals conceded compared to the next rival, Reach Out, who is conceded 22 goals. So you can see what the strengths and the weaknesses are. Although Reach Out, they're scoring a lot of goals, but they're conceding a lot of goals, which means you can't really win all of those games.
They're bullying teams, Reach Out, aren't they?
They're a bit of a bullying team. They can be quite intimidating. Some of the players that I've seen, they're quite huge. They're sort of 6 foot mark. Whereas Stepney players, they're ever so skillful. And they play really good as a team. Whereas Reach Out, they've got the strength. They're quite good in the air, and they're quite determined as well. So I know, we're sort of halfway in the season, and anything can happen. It only takes 1 or 2 games difference, and if Stepney loses the next 2 games, then they'll have to play catch up. So it's too close to say anything at the moment. But I think those 4 teams are in a really good position. I mean, Lotus might be in the 4th place. Currently they're 15 points. They're only 4 points behind Stepney. So it just says how close those teams are.
It does indeed. And let's have a look at the fixtures that are going to take place this Sunday between all of the big boys up there in the Prem. There they go. Beaumont, after a disastrous game yesterday, have got London Tigers coming up this Sunday. Can they be the thorn in the side now of the Tigers? Lotus and Leytonstone is now a very interesting tie. Have Leytonstone turned the corner? And will they upset Lotus, or will Lotus want to continue their march in chasing the 3 in front of them? Stepney take on Hawk and Eagle. West End take on Reach Out. It's all very interesting and all to play for in that division. Good luck to all the teams taking part in the Prem. We'll have a look at the 1st and 2nd divisions fixtures shortly. In fact, what we'll do, Steve, is we'll take a look at your fixtures in a little while coming up for this week. But apart from the team that's kind of running away with it in the 2nd division, that's Walthamstow Red Star. Have you seen games where we coulda, shoulda, woulda, won it? If we'd have just done this, have you had those moments?
Oh, definitely, yeah. And if ifs and buts was beer and nuts, we'd have a lovely Christmas.
That's a great one. I'm keeping that one. Yes.
Make sure you give me copyright. But no, as you say, there is obviously one team that's a lot stronger, I think, than the rest in the league, and they deserve to be out top. And to be honest, with the mixture, it's the games that we've been played against. We played against some really good individual players. Again, I think what happens, speaking to a lot of the other guys that are the managers, have the same thing. Depends who they've got to play each week. I think we're all in the same boat about lads missing games through work, injury. So what I would say on that is I judge it at the end of the season again, because again, it's dependent upon the side that I've put out for us. So I think, once we've played everybody with what I'd say is a very strong team from our point of view, then be able to judge the others. But again, conversely, I'd say one of the best performances against us was the guys at the bottom, Fish Island. I thought they played a great game. the actual style of football they played, and again for the strength of the team that we had out, I thought that we were quite fortunate enough to beat them. And again, as you said earlier, like 1 week teams can win quite handsomely, and then the next week against the same team lose quite heavily. So again, there's that bit of inconsistency, but I think that's what makes it very interesting, very exciting as well.
Indeed. Let's have a look at the fixtures to come for the second division this Sunday as well. And here we go, right at the top of the pile, you can see Arsenal take on the West End Reserves. The Fish Islanders that Steve was just talking about, they're up against Riverside. That's a game, that's almost like a 6 point between those two teams. Something could happen there. PYO take on AMY, the Battle of the Anagrams there. St Catherine's take on Walthamstow Red Star, which I think is quite a key game. St Catherine's lost a game early in the season, but they've been picking up points consistently since then and will want to do something against Red Star. Tower Hamlets take on Redcoat. Redcoat are also having a good season. And when I look at those fixtures there, Steve, I mean, exactly what you're saying. You're playing West End. I mean, they're 2 points ahead of you in the table, but that doesn't really mean anything because a lot of the teams are very, very even amongst themselves in that division. Yeah,
I think as well it's that there's obviously you've got the Red Stars right at the top, and as you say, St Catherine's are looking quite strong, and Redcoat, so there's tends to be them three at the top, the Fish Island and Riverside at the bottom two, and then in the middle it's quite condensed.
Really, it's quite. You can all nick points off each other. We Red Star, St Catherine's. I mean, maybe a couple of weeks ago, with Red Star just firing all guns blazing, we might have thought, well, it's just another 3 points. Is there a chance here that St Catherine's have now found their feet and might be able to stem the tide a little bit?
I don't know. It's tough to say. I haven't seen St Catherine's in third position or near third position for a number of seasons now. Looks like they found some sort of confidence. They're back in their winning ways. St Catherine's do have a fairly decent history. They've won titles in the past, and they were a Premier Division side team as well. Yeah. But previous seasons ago, that they went through some sort of restructuring and that they lost a lot of players. So, no, it seems like they have, as a team, they seem to have stabilised. So, they've won 5 games out of 7, which is an outstanding result. I mean, I know Walthamstow Red Star won 8 out of 8, so that is a huge sort of milestone. Yeah. But I know St Catherine's could be one of the dark horses for the Red Stars. Who knows?
It always tends to happen just when you think a team's going to run away with it. Something always happens. There is a blip. Something happens. Maybe that could be the one. We'll keep our eye on that one and report back next Monday on the show. The first division fixtures for this Sunday look like this, and as we reported earlier in the show, there are 4 fixtures there, but the one that stands out is Seoul Youth versus the Crusaders. And like I will say, I was there at the game for Crusaders versus Stepney B last week, and like I said, it may have been, to be fair, Crusaders were maybe missing 3 or 4 players. But take nothing away from Stepney B. They really pushed them all the way. And if they play like that against Seoul Youth, this could be 3 points for Seoul. Is there a chance for Seoul Youth to take points from Crusaders here?
Could be. I don't know. I mean, the previous 7 games that Crusaders have played, their average scoring was about 7.5 goals per game. Last week they only scored 2 goals. So I know the temperatures have dipped. This is where teams are going to be really tested. When the temperature drops, a lot of people don't want to turn up. So, and this far down the season, fatigue seems to sort of catch on, slowly, and teams begin to encounter injured players and stuff like that. So, what I can say is that teams may enter some sort of difficult period, and that's probably a really good opportunity for teams in the 2nd or 3rd or even 4th place to gain some points. If you look at Crusaders and Seoul Youth, they're both very similar, quite consistent. Crusaders scored about 41 goals, but they've only conceded 6 goals, so that says a lot about the defence. Seoul Youth, on the other hand, scored 38 goals and only conceded 11. So I can see some similarities in both of these teams. With only a 3-point gap between them. Anything can happen this week?
It can indeed, and I think what's interesting for me and something that I've noticed, I mean, I know Crusaders were new into the league, caught a lot of people by surprise. I kind of think that people are working themselves out. I mean, when they came up against Ace, They only beat Ace by 2-1. They got a 2-1 just now against Stepney, albeit with a weakened side. Seoul Youth brushed away Ace by 6-2 a couple of weeks ago. Now, I know we shouldn't look at things like that. Well, if he beat him, then they should beat that. Something that doesn't work like that. But there just seems to be an arrogance and a confidence amongst Seoul Youth when they come and do the business, that they do it at 100%. And I just wonder if this is the game that might really open up the whole season in the first division, and Seoul Youth might get it. Let's not answer it. It's out there. I'm just putting it out there. I'm trying to whet the appetite of all of you to maybe even go down and watch the game, because it will be a cracking game of that. I have no doubt it will be competitive. It will be fierce, but the better team will win it on the day, or maybe not. We could be here talking about a 0-0 boring draw next Monday. You will only know here on the ILFL Soccer Night show next Monday. I want to turn our attentions away from Winter League football 11 aside on a Sunday and turn our attentions to Winter League Vet Style on a Monday and a Thursday night. Yes, the Vets League will be back for its winter session coming up in January 2016. Nanu, what little shall we give them to whet their appetites for that one?
Well, up until now, we've been boasting about how competitive the Veterans League is, the first and second division, and we always mention, it's not for the light-hearted teams, teams really do want to compete. So it's always been a platform for legends to come in and showcase what they can do and what they have been doing in the previous 20, 25 years or so in the career. But now what we can say is that, the same as our other divisions, our other competitions such as the Open Age, we have a platform for everyone. So what we're looking to do is, for the winter 2016 season, we're looking to divide into 3 different divisions because we have enough interest. So we will have 3 divisions. The Premier and the First divisions is going to remain as competitive as ever, except the second division is going to be for newcomers. So new teams can come in, have a try, have a kick about, but still it will be exciting and slightly competitive as well. Without that, there's no point coming into a league and having a kick around.
Yeah, they'll still have some purpose and things to
so
play for. Yeah.
Going forward, we can say that the Veterans League is here for everyone now.
Excellent. It is there and it's on its way, and it will be, like Nanu said, just as exciting and competitive as it always has been, maybe even more so. It leads me on to something that I should have said last week that didn't say, and I will put right this week. You saw that last week Nurul Haq was in the studio, and we were so excited by 3 cup draws going on last week. We forgot to mention, smack my wrist, London Tigers are now the double champions for the ILFL and Shanali Otis Vets League. They won the league and the cup at a stroll, it has to be said. There was no competition, Beaumont, for them, the Beaumont Masters. The Masters, well, they didn't look like Masters at all. It looked like Tigers were the Masters as they blew them away and deservedly won the Vets Cup. So well done to you, London Tigers. You've done it for the first time in your history, the double. You won the league and the cup. Can you roll that over into the winter session starting in January 2016? Maybe they could go a whole season and go 2 seasons unbeaten now. That would be something, wouldn't it?
That would be something. I mean, not to mention that was the only team that actually has done the double. So after 5 seasons of the Veterans League, London Tigers came this far. They've won the title or they've won the cup. But this time around, they've won it both together. So this is a major accomplishment for them.
Well, there you go. I've thrown down the gauntlet to you, London Tigers. Go unbeaten, 2 seasons running, double. Can it be done? Speaking of doubles and all of that, let's move back to Arsenal in the community. Are you still playing football yourself personally then, Steve, or do you just run things now?
Yeah, just run the things now, unfortunately. I'm a bit too old.
You say unfortunately, back in the day though?
Yeah, I used to enjoy a game then. Yeah,
lovely. We're going to keep Steve with us for the last section of the show. We're going to talk some more football in the community and talk about our own community projects that are happening in and around the Inner London Football League. Stick around, we'll be back after this short break.